You say it will be a revolution. I think we all feel it will be a revolution, but there is a certain fear, particularly about artificial intelligence. People feel it dehumanizes us and so on. Now, what steps do we need actually to make sure that those technologies, particularly artificial intelligence, remain society-oriented and human-centered?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great point, and I think a very important consideration, and quite frankly, a design consideration. In fact, one of the things we think a lot about is how to deploy this technology to empower human beings to do more. So, for example, like on New Year's Day, I saw this tweet by Andrej Karpathy, who was an ex-founder of the autopilot group at Tesla, who's an AI developer. And so he sort of referenced perhaps the biggest product that made a difference in his life in the last 12 months was the GitHub Copilot we had launched last year. So here's a software developer using tools and saying, now GitHub Copilot is generating 80% of his code. So that doesn't mean Andrej is not writing new code and being at his creative best. It just so happens that now he has 80% leverage in doing what he's doing. He's still the pilot. He does have a co-pilot. So that's why I even like the branding of what we did there, because I think it helps put the pilot in charge and the co-pilot helping the pilot. But that's one example. I'll give you another anecdote, which for me perhaps was the most revealing of what can happen. I was in India at the beginning of January, and I saw this demo, Klaus. In India, one of the things that's very exceptional that's happening is digital public goods that are getting built for identity, payment, many systems. And one of the digital public goods that's getting built is for language translation, right? So basically they have an open source project so that anybody building any application in India can translate between any language in any Indian language. So a demo I saw was a rural Indian farmer trying to access some government program, right? So he just expressed a complex thought in speech in one of the local languages that got translated and interpreted by a bot, and a response came back saying, go to a portal and here is how you'll access the program. He said, look, I'm not going to go to the portal. I want you to do this for me. And it completed it. And the reason why it was able to complete it was because a developer building it had taken GPT and trained it over all of the Government of India documents and then scaffolded it with this speech recognition software. So think about what that meant, right? That basically meant that a large model, a foundational model that was developed in the West Coast of the United States a few months before, had made its way to a developer in India who then sort of added value to it to make a difference in a remote villager's life. And I've never seen that type of diffusion. To your point about the Industrial Revolution, Klaus, I would say, we're still waiting for the Industrial Revolution to reach some large parts of the world, 250 years after. The internet maybe took 30 years. Maybe the cloud and mobile took 15 years. And now I think we're talking months, which to me, I think is perhaps the benefit. Doesn't mean, to your core question, we shouldn't take something like AI safety as a core consideration right, at the design time. And so therefore, even when we launch these APIs, which we did this week, one of the key things is the APIs have safety built into it for harmful content or the context in which they're used. So a lot of work needs to go into it still, but we think of both the unintended consequences and the benefits both being something that we harness.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.